Hi, everyone. Today is Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. Welcome. I'm Jeffrey Morgan, and this is a talk I host twice a week to discuss my experiences on the path of soul transcendence. This offering is brought to you by the Movement of Spiritual Inner Awareness with the encouragement and support of my friend John Morton, who holds the mystical traveler consciousness, which is the spiritual consciousness that does the work that we're doing here today. If you're new to the call, the format is simple. We're going to start by calling ourselves forward into the light, which is calling our awareness forward into the light of God that's already present. And then we're going to chant three Anai hues. Hue is an ancient name for God, and Anai invokes a quality of empathy and compassion. And then we're going to play a video clip from my teacher, John Roger. And then I'm going to do a reading from Baba Kuhi of Shiraz, and then we can talk about whatever you would like. So, if you'd like to gently close your eyelids. Beloved Father, Mother God, we call ourselves forward into your love and light and sound. And we ask to be filled, surrounded, and protected by the light of the Holy Spirit and the light of the Christ, so that only that which is for the highest good will take place here, taking into account each soul's destiny on this planet. We open ourselves once more to receive of the guidance and the healing and the clearing of spirit. And we ask for the clearing that any karma or negativity that can be lifted be taken into the highest realms of light and dispersed into the nothingness from which it came. We do this session in the presence and under the guidance of the mystical traveler in Christ consciousness. We ask these consciousnesses to remove any doubts, fears, or negativity that would stand in the way of all that's been prepared for us, and we ask all of this for the highest good. We ask that the energy and presence of the Lord Jesus Christ and John Roger infuse all that we're doing. And we ask for a blessing to be placed with all beings everywhere, that they be filled with joy and peace, that the loving that we are shine through in our actions and our thoughts, and everyone we touch, that it be amplified and carried forward. And we are so grateful to be together in service to this action, and grateful for all the blessings that you bestow, for we know that the blessings already are, and above all, we know that thy will is done, and for this, above all, we give our thanks. And so it is.
Being of service to mankind is the highest consciousness we can portray out here. The giving is not given from a place of words or phoniness. It is given from the abundant life inside of you. That abundant life does not expect abundance back because there's no place to put it. It is abundant because it is and has contact to the Father within, and it is radiating out this tremendous new joyfulness. That's the hardest thing I had, was for people to give me things. I'd say, no, give it to somebody else. The person said, how do I show my love to you? And I thought, oh, I missed it. I missed it. They don't know how to show the love by taking the Spirit and radiating it. And so as part of their grade progression, I said, sure, fine. Put it over here. I'll look at it later. Or I'll look at it and say, fine, give somebody, keep this for me. Now they find out that giving and my receiving the gift was my giving again. And I was really being dumb about it. I didn't know it. It was the hardest thing for me to get, was to receive. I could give this love. Oh, amazing. Just the light would radiate through. But what good is that? Because that becomes adoration of one man and not the culmination of mankind, unless you also can radiate the loving. Unless you also get that moment in the light to produce this out. I remember the first thing I received, I had to step down and put the other person up. And then I held them there in that light as I loved them. And the loving just went through me at a higher, faster rate.
Okay. This is Only God I Saw by Baba Kuhi of Shiraz. In the market, in the cloister, only God I saw. In the valley and on the mountain, only God I saw. Him I have seen beside me oft in tribulation, in favor and in fortune, only God I saw. In prayers and fasting, in praise and contemplation, in the religion of the prophet, only God I saw. Neither soul nor body, accident nor substance, qualities nor causes, only God I saw. I oped mine eyes by the light of his face around me. In all the eyes discovered, only God I saw. Like a candle, I was melting in his fire. Amidst the flames out flashing, only God I saw. Myself with mine own eyes I saw most clearly, but when I looked with God's eyes, only God I saw. I passed away into nothingness, I vanished, and lo, I was the all-living, only God I saw. All right. As a reminder, if you're new to this work or new to Soul Transcendence or new to the call and you want to share, I will give preferential treatment to folks. So please don't be bashful, share. And I'm sure people love to hear from you and love to send you light. So if you feel called, please raise your hand. And Louise. See you raising your hand. I'm just trying to unmute you there.
Hey. ¿Ahí me estás escuchando? Okay.
Yeah. Can you get on camera? And folks, if you I think we have some translation going, so if you go to interpretation and select English, I think you may be able to hear a translation. And Louise, if you're going to speak Spanish, can you select Spanish? and then Carlos can assist, unless he's in the
Sí,
same room
señor.
and wants to do live.
Ok, estamos en el mismo cuarto y vamos a hacerlo en vivo. Listo. Muy bien.
And
Okay.
I don't know if you're able to get on camera. That'd be cool too. But
Okay, okay. Okay. Jeffrey, tengo tres para comentar. Jeffrey, una es preguntar. So first,
Luis, I can't hear you very well, man. I don't know if the internet's connection's weak or.
yeah. Okay.
And if you're in the same, Carlos, if you're in the same room as him, man, I think that creates feedback. So you may need to be in a different room. All right, we'll go with Patricia for now, and we'll try Luis back later. Go ahead, Patricia.
Oh, wow. Hi. I'm Patricia, um, here in the DC area, choosing this over Mr. Trump right now. And I'm surprised. I'm surprising myself because I've been thinking about this for so long. Uh, I want to say I'm a mess, but I don't really like to say that about me. But I've been in the movement a really long time, but I haven't really done SEs at any period regularly. I've been trying it lately a little more, but I still fucked that up. I messed up. I didn't do a couple days. I feel like I'm in a constant struggle to try and make myself move. I mean, I'm 80 now, and I've been, quote, retired, but kind of forcibly retired when the company went bankrupt. And I don't have enough money. And I just may be forced to move and do. And I mean, I'm shocking myself to say I haven't done laundry. I'm not even taking showers. Although my shower did break, the tiles on the shower wall are broken, and the condo people are threatening me if I don't fix it. And I just am not handling 10%.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you have anything that would assist me, because really I'd like so much to be able to share um, JR and share the movement and share the loving. And I'd like to be more, um, I'm not quite sure, more authentic. I feel like I came up with a lot of learning to please, um, learning to pacify a very, very angry father, and learning to stay in the background and pacify. But then I feel like I have this other part of me that wants to be Sally Kirkland. I want to be like very expressive. And all of this is in knots right now. And so it feels like it's a very, I want to say febrile. I'm not sure what that means, but, you know, like something that could grow now. So if you have anything that would assist me, and I just hold for the loving that's here.
Yeah. I think a lot of what you're dealing with is the sum total of stories that you've told yourself and standards that you've imposed upon yourself up to this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Spiritual exercises is a gift. It's a tool. It's time that you take with the divinity in you and connecting to the truth of you. But in point of fact, when you're initiated by the mystical traveler consciousness and through the sound current, that consciousness is also chanting you all the time. So it's also very accurate to say your whole life becomes a spiritual exercise. Attitude can either become a key enabler or a stumbling block. And how you relate to what's going on in your life becomes as important as what's going on in your life, if not more so, because right now you have a story called My Life is Fucked Up. I fucked up. I didn't achieve the thing that I wanted to achieve. I'm not living it or demonstrating it. None of that's present. None of that's real. The truth of who we are always exists in the present moment and nowhere else. It's certainly not in the regrets of what has been or what we think have been. And it's certainly not in what we think is going to happen tomorrow, like evictions and things of that nature. It's always right here. And as much as we try to create a sense of security in our mind by trying to formulate and place into boxes all of our behaviors and all of the things we've ever done or not done, if we're intellectually honest, we realize that the entire process of our life has been a great mystery. And in many ways, a miraculous mystery if you think about just how many molecules had to be in just the right position from the beginning of time to this moment so that you could take that breath. If it was off by a millimeter, life might not have even happened. Off by a micrometer, you might have never come in contact with the mystical traveler consciousness in your life. There's always cause for gratitude, just like there's always cause for bitching.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to this thing called choice. Your physical karma is your physical karma and is a direct result of the things that were placed in motion by the actions you took in previous lives and the agreement you have as a soul in terms of completion of those karmas in order to go home to the heart of God. You personalize it through the ego. Oh, I've done this and it's so bad and I was treated like this and this person was not nice to me. But in point of fact, all you're dealing with is the equivalent of gravity. You throw a ball up in the air and you catch it later. And then you ask yourself why balls always fall on your head and how life is so unfair because balls keep falling on your and you just don't remember throwing the ball up in the air in the first place. Whether you judge it or not, your life's going to happen the way it needs to happen to complete the action of that. But if you can start relating to your life as a gift, you'll start to open up your own ability to perceive reality more richly. When in doubt, say thank you, especially for the shitty stuff.
Okay.
If you're confused, why are the tiles broken? Maybe start with thank you, Lord, for the broken tiles. Maybe the tiles are broken because you needed to have something get your attention and the tiles are what's there. And if your tiles weren't broken, your neighbors wouldn't complain. If the neighbors wouldn't complain, the homeowners association wouldn't light a fire under you to go into action. Maybe that's the blessing.
Mm.
I've come to find out that most of the things in my life, especially the things that upset me the most, are usually either a prayer answered or the price I have to be willing to pay for the prayer answered. And I have so many experiences in my life where the thing that I dislike the most and that I pity myself the most for the thing that I had to go through and how unfair and how unjust it was. And then I rewind the tape and realize, oh, I was just getting what I asked for. I was just getting the gift of that. And I had just forgotten. It doesn't do you any good to judge yourself for not doing SCs. And you can start right now. I mean, my talking is not even close to as important as you breathing in and out and chanting those names of God inside of you. And if you could just close your eyes and chant right now inside of you and forget what I'm saying. All I'm doing is confounding the mind because you suffer from a mind that is making your life harder to live than it needs to be because you're deciding to relate to your life as a burden rather than as God's gift to you. That's choice. That's attitude.
I'm starting to get that.
Yeah, well, but if you were to take one moment and just say, what is most lovable about my life right now? Or just take a moment and say, what is all the love that brought me here to this moment? All the moments of loving and sweetness that brought me here. Where you place your focus, there will be your heart. Where you place your focus, there will be your life force. There will be your experience. We create, promote, and allow our experience by placing energy and life force into our thought pattern. It becomes almost deterministic. You keep envisioning a shitty experience and you precipitate a shitty experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just talking to somebody who went through an incredible tragedy of losing a very close loved one unexpectedly. No explanation or nothing. Just medical mystery.
Mm.
And what I said to her was everything contextually and instinctively is telling you to stop everything, to freeze, and to focus on loss. But if you were to take just a moment to envision your most joyful, fulfilled existence and place your energy into that, you may find that grief isn't what happens before you can live your life. It is a sacred step in manifesting your most beautiful life. What you're going through is not a problem. It's a process of you remembering who you are. And you look back because you think you know it all and you judge the things that you've done and wonder if you could have done it better. And my experience is people work within the confines of their karma. They do the best they can with what they know. You don't have to worry about what you didn't do yesterday. Worry about what you're choosing right now. And don't worry about it. It's just where do you want to place your energy? Where do you want to place your focus? I think the big mistake that I made is oftentimes it's like I would have in my head that it's time for me to do a thing. But then some part of me knew that it wasn't. And I would argue with myself and I would procrastinate and create excuses and do all this stuff when I realized I would be further ahead if I just looked at that procrastination or that lack of doing as something very sacred. Sometimes doing nothing is the most positive action we can take. Sometimes sitting still and breathing is the most positive action we can take. It's really our mind's propensity to argue with reality that creates the suffering and the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune in our minds. It's that argument. And that comes back to attitude because you could say, you know what, me procrastinating is a very sacred part of my method.
Or what was that?
Procrastinating may be a very sacred part of your method. Some people need to marinate. And I don't think that's dumb. I mean, a lot of people, it's like the classic wisdom of like, sleep on it, give it time, let it breathe. Sometimes if you don't see the answer, it's because it's not time for the answer to be seen. You just have to wait and allow it to process inside of you. I mean, I can think of several instances where I was pressuring myself to make a decision or fix a problem, and it just wasn't happening. And I kept aggravating myself and freaking myself out. And oh my God, why can't I just figure this out? And then I find out a day later that my paralysis was a blessing because I found out new information. And if I had taken action and made the decision, I would have suffered. So there's an opportunity for you in the way you relate to your life to trust the intelligence of the flow of your life. To trust that there's no mistakes. To trust that God loves all of its creation, including you when you don't shower. You create the version of reality that says some things are more lovable than other things, and this is better than that, and I should be doing this, and if I had only done that. That's all your fabrication. That's not what God's doing.
Well, I'd like to be happier and more successful and
Yeah, but see, if you have an exteriorized version of that, you're in a trap because your physical circumstance is going to be what it needs to be to complete your karma, which may not be comfortable and it may not be what you prefer. But your joy and your fulfillment can be present within you regardless. That's actually why you do spiritual exercises. You do spiritual exercise because it anchors you in a state that is free from the ebbs and flows of your karma. And you start to anchor in a state of consciousness that is impersonal and perfected and beautiful and loving. And it's this equanimity, this ordinariness that says, yeah, I have preferences, but ultimately thy will be done. To me, if my happiness is contingent upon a condition in the physical world, then I'm a prisoner of the physical world. And the physical world is fickle. I don't know if you noticed, but things don't stay the same here. Things die, things decay, things fall apart. But if you build that reference point within you, the ultimate resilience is knowing your divine essence. Because when you source from the divine essence, you can watch the play of your life express itself without any againstness or judgment of any of it. You can have physical preferences. I prefer to have a place to live that's mine, that I paid for. I prefer to have a shower that doesn't have broken tiles. I prefer all of those can be there. But that's not what's going to fulfill you. It's not the tiles in your shower. It's not your relationship with your neighbors. It's not the money in your bank account. It's the bank account within that matters. And that's what the spiritual exercises is designed to support you in building. You build your treasures in the inner kingdom of heaven. Now, this is not me telling you all this to guilt trip you and tell you to judge yourself for not doing spiritual exercises, because for all you know, you were doing spiritual exercises. But this is to tell you that it's a very powerful tool for you. And it's really a gift that you can give yourself. And it's that critical moment where the world tells you to engage deeper and become more entangled in the stories around you, that you pull into a greater reality within you. And that doesn't mean go to a cave somewhere or try to cut off relations with anything that's a problem in the physical. On the contrary, I'm able to engage even more deeply with my physical environment when I'm in that consciousness, because it becomes just a game. It's like you have an argument with your neighbors. It's like the argument with your neighbor's game. It's not bad or good, right or wrong. You're just playing out the karma.
Mm.
And if you look back at your life and you go, well, this situation seems to happen a lot. Yeah, it's probably your karma. So we might as well laugh about it. And you strike me as somebody who finds himself in those kinds of interesting circumstances that feels something like a double bind or a catch 22 or an unsolvable puzzle or that kind of, but then somehow things work out.
Yeah.
So here you are in another one,
Yeah.
and you have this choice of going, well, if I look at all the different impossible puzzles of my life, the evidence suggests that I will find the path through if I can just wait and hold in the loving. Or you can judge it, or you can throw your pity party. But I think you know that you've seen this play before. You've seen this show before. Might as well start laughing.
I'm just struggling a little here with, like, the concept is so vast that, oh, I did these things, 20 million years ago, and now they're here, but everything's fine because I am. And yet I don't exactly get the full experience, I guess, of I am.
Yeah, well,
So,
you that's why you do your SCs. That's why
yeah,
you
but
do the
sometimes
spiritual
I
exercises.
sit there going, oh, this is boring, So,
Yeah, see, I think people get into that because a lot of times they treat it like exercise, they treat it like training, like build, like
yeah,
eat your vegetables. I'm
yeah,
actually suggesting that you take that time to fall into the arms of the beloved.
thank you.
It's like if you could literally imagine yourself falling backward into the most loving embrace you could imagine. And when you pull your attention into the third eye center and you start chanting, and you just allow that focal point to drift back behind your eyes and pull up, yeah, you're already starting to feel it. It feels like the sweet ambrosia. It's like that sweetness. In Sanskrit, they call it the amrit, and it's the sweet ambrosia.
It's the what? What?
Sweet ambrosia,
Oh, ambrosia.
the nectar of the gods. It's just like unfettering yourself, like finally taking that heavy pack off your back. That's the kind of relief I'm talking about. People relate, this comes back, we're back to attitude again. If you relate to your spiritual exercises, your meditation, as vegetables you have to eat in order to be a good person or a good whatever, then your basic self is going to start getting rebellious with that because she has that. And then you're going to go, this is boring. But if you go, oh my God, finally, I get to breathe. I get to be with myself. Thank you, Lord. And you allow that pull. See, if you notice it, it's like after all these years, you've been trying to push upward when all you really had to do was feel that thread pulling you back behind your eyes and out the top of your head. Feel that sweetness. You just drift. It's like stretching or yawning in total relief as you chant into that place. And it has that sweetness. It's like smells of roses and jasmine. That's how I experience SCs. Do you see it's different? When you relate to it that way, it becomes your gift to yourself.
I have spent some time in like a week or more that I've been practicing it. And I do spend some of the time saying, oh yeah, JR said the only wrong way to do it is not to do it. So you're doing it. Give yourself a break. You're
I
doing
agree with that. I agree with that. And
yeah.
my invitation is if you relate to it as that sweetness or that sweet opportunity,
Okay.
and
I
you
do,
place that intention and say, I'd like this to be my reality. Do you
okay.
understand? It's like right now you're relating to the body as your reality. When you're freaking out about the money and the situation that's you relating to your body as the reality rather than relating to your body as your responsibility, like you're a caretaker, but you're not your body.
Mm.
The more you place your attention on that third eye center, the more you start to drift into that reference point and source from that, the more you will start to recognize that the things in your life that seemed like burdens are really just your privilege of completion.
Mm.
It's like you're a caretaker for your karmas, like you're a gardener tending a garden. You're not the plants, you're the gardener. So you get to care for that. When you think you're the body, then it becomes always a matter of life and death, and if not physical death, then ego death, and it becomes something you have to fight for. When you relate to it as that which is eternal in you, you see it as a privilege to care for this one, this beautiful girl that you get to care for, this body. And spiritual exercises becomes dipping back into that remembrance of who you truly are, that sweetness. It's almost like it gets to the point where your daily comings and goings become like you're a pearl diver holding your breath underwater. And when you do spiritual exercises, you finally come up and go, okay, okay, we can handle this. And then you hold your breath and dive back in, looking for those pearls of wisdom and all the learning that you're going to get on this planet. And then you do spiritual exercise, you can come back up and go, okay, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, I'll go back in. See, it's a total inversion. When we
Mm.
first start doing spiritual exercises, it's this alien thing that we have to somehow get ourselves to do when every fiber of our body wants to go do something else. But after a while, the spiritual exercises and the spiritual reference point become more real than the physical. And when you source from that, you become like a living prayer answered. Your presence is so healing for you and everyone you contact. Now, you already have this fully present in you. This is already fully available in you. All it requires is your attitude and how you relate to it. If you can just shift that perspective, you might find your life is quite graceful. It may not always go the way you prefer in your mind, but you might find it's a dance with the beloved.
That would be good. I do like dancing.
Beautiful.
Thank you for all the words, not just tonight, but every time.
My pleasure.
God bless.
God bless you. All right, Louise, are we going to try this again, buddy?
Okay, here we go.
Hey, good to see you again.
Okay, okay. En la anterior respuesta me diste parte de mi respuesta, entonces me tocó reformular toda la respuesta.
So you already gave an answer to myself, so I need to reformulate the question.
La pregunta también.
It comes back to a new question.
Así de que algo bueno, me imagino que sería preguntarte más bien, ¿qué tienes para mí?
I'd love to ask you, what do you have for me?
That's not fair. All right.
Yo sé.
I know, I know, I know.
Part of what we're here to work with when we come to the planet is not just the levels that we consciously experience. In fact, the majority of what we experience is subconscious. You take in a lot of information through the body, and only a small percentage of that you perceive consciously. In certain cultures, there's a very strong psychic genetic patterning and very strong memory, specifically around traumas that happen in specific generations of your lineage. For some of us coming in, there is an opportunity to heal, like this wound, this suffering, this memory stops here in this time with this person. And this healing through the Christ is a process of forgiving and forgetting, which means not only is there a forgiveness that sees the trauma or the negativity or reconciles the betrayal of a society to its people. It is a forgiveness that renews and makes you new in the way that you experience reality. So it's as if you were born and none of that had ever taken place. It is okay if parts of you are not at the place that I'm talking about in terms of letting go of the suffering. But there is a powerful ministry, a powerful service that we do in this process. And we are privileged to be a place where againstness comes to its end, that we cease being against. And even at the genetic level, the gene of peace, a peace that surpasses understanding, is placed at this time. In certain cultures where expression of the emotional and mental level are so fundamental to relationship, we can miss the way in which our bodies can structure our perception. So the very way that we perceive is filtered through a field of psychic genetic memory. You have great awakening of the Christ in your consciousness. And there is an opportunity to allow that awakening to pass into each cell of your body. as above, so below. And we let that loving anchor even into the lowest. The Christ did not express into the earth in human form in order to stay in the white tower of conceptual reality, but to meet people in the very depths of the earth and bring freedom even into the hells. There is no place in your consciousness that is exempt from God's complete and total loving. Even the very depths of your suffering. So there's an opportunity for you to extend what you have discovered in your heart and extend it into the basic self and into the body consciousness. That wherever you walk, the Christ walks in that place. That whatever you touch, the Christ touches. That whatever you speak as the Christ. And all it asks of you is to be reborn and to experience your life in a newness that begins at this moment, that forgives and forgets whatever may have happened, whatever you may have seen as a child, as a young adult, whatever your ancestors may have seen. That we send the light back into all of those places and all of those people. That we equally ask for the loving and the light to be sent to the oppressor and the oppressed. To those who were ethical and unethical, to those who hurt others, to those who were hurt by others, that we see only a oneness through that process, that we are all God's child made manifest on the planet as one. And you can breathe that out. You can release that. Everything that has come before, I give freely to the Christ. For it is not the forgiveness that is given as an excuse or a boon or a validation or permission. It is the forgiveness that sees the divinity underneath all of it and knows there was never really anything to forgive, only the forgetfulness that we are all the same divinity. So that's what I saw for you.
Hey. Muy hermoso.
Beautiful.
Um, Quería comentarte,
I wanted to share with you.
a mí se me ha venido ocurriendo esta idea y es
I have this idea
la inteligencia artificial.
with artificial intelligence.
Hubiera de que
What possibility do you see
se
in
pudiera
creating
coger toda la información
through all
de,
information
de todas las enseñanzas
of all the
que
teaching
bajó J.R. y que está bajando
from
John
JR
Morton
and John Morton,
y poder catalogarla de una forma en
and
donde
catalog
cualquier
those
persona
in a way
que
that
esté en el
any
movimiento
person
o que no esté en el movimiento
within
pueda
or
accesar
outside of
cualquier
the
tema.
movement
Y
could
dije, bueno,
access
yo
to
quiero
any
trabajar
topic.
con perdón, yo quiero
For example, I
trabajar
would like to work
con
with
resentimiento,
forgiveness,
con
shame, guilt,
celos, con lo que sea.
etc.
Y simplemente pongo
And
ese tema.
simply, I
Y me
can
aparecería una serie de
uh,
información que ya está
I can
previamente
type those topics
tamizada
and
por la
I
inteligencia
can get the
artificial y
information
sería,
through the
no
AI,
sé,
and I don't
una nueva
know,
forma de presentar las
it'd be a
enseñanzas.
new way
¿Verdad?
to
Y
present the
tengo esto como
teaching.
corriendo por la
I
cabeza.
Yeah,
have this running through my head.
so firstly, a couple of informational points. The movement of spiritual inner awareness is working on and continues to work on archival resources that will allow you to search those kinds of terms and find the information that you're looking for. And it's a topic of discussion that the staff looks at a lot. I think that there's a risk with using an AI because the information used to train that AI inherently carries with it a bias and a perceptual filter. So it would be like much in the way it wouldn't be as good for you to ask me to read a bunch of JR stuff and interpret it and tell you what it says or try to sum it up for you. It would probably be better for you to see the original material. I wouldn't ask an AI to do it either, even if the AI is smarter than me. And even what I do on these talks, I don't really do a lot of like
Okay.
JR says or John Rogers says or like John Morton says. I don't do that because it's not, I think it's more powerful for me to share with you my own experience because I can speak with a lot of integrity to that. And I don't need to tell you what another spiritual teacher says, except to the extent that it's a better articulation of my experience than I could do. So my perspective is it's better for you to, with any spiritual teaching, to hear it direct from the master, if possible. That's number one. Number two, you have to understand, I think, or at least I have to understand, that the teachings are not the information. The written information and the stuff that is articulated is very useful, but the teachings are inside you. And what that information does, and the media and the written word that's there, is creates a connection point for you to the source of the teachings. We don't read discourses or written materials of MSIA, Movement of Spiritual Inner Awareness, or any of that so that we can memorize it. We use it because it's useful and because it gives us a connection point to the source of that information. What I share with you is informationally of moderate value because I happen to read a lot of interesting books. What's more useful is that I speak from a consciousness in integrity, and that allows a frequency to express into the space that we create so that you can have the exact same experience. But if we're talking about spiritual things, just assume that most of what I'm saying is bullshit because I can't really describe most of what I experience spiritually completely in words.
Yeah.
But what I can do is I can speak words with a specific consciousness, and that consciousness that speaks through the words can create a point of contact inside of you that activates the part of you that is also in that consciousness and is that consciousness. And then ultimately, what I'm sharing with you is just what you already know. And you'll notice that a lot of people, when I talk to them, I'm just saying things and they're going, oh, yeah, I know that. Oh, yeah, I know that. And you go, well, yeah, I mean, I hope so. Because all I'm doing is speaking from the same consciousness that lives inside of you. And my hope is to just create enough of a resonance between those 2 points that you can listen to yourself and get the real seminar and the real content that's going on inside of you. The source of truth is not going to be words that are recorded in physical media. The source of truth is going to be that which is communicated through the words. And even that, in that it's in the lower levels, is usually a reflector or a directional tool that will get you into the current, into the sound current that then brings you connection to the authentic manifestation of God. You're,
Sí.
an AI
Yeah.
that has all the information we provide is of little value if it does not have the consciousness we provide. We're in the business of transmission, not information.
Sí.
Transmission happens. That's the thing. It's like somebody was saying, I really want to be somebody who spreads the word about the beauty of what we do. Well, the best way to communicate MSIA is to manifest the movement of spiritual inner awareness of your own consciousness, expressing out into everyone you speak to. The best way to express what we do is to be loving and to have the loving and the consciousness that works with us expressed through your eyes and your words to connect into the other person. And it's not something we need to worry about it because it sure as shit isn't something I know how to control. It's way above my pay grade. All I need to do is put my body in the right place and keep my consciousness in a state of service and submission to the higher intelligence of this spirit that works through me. And then I let it do its thing. I let it do its thing. Like what I was telling you before, I don't even know what I said. I have no idea what I just said, but I know that it moved energy in your consciousness, and I saw some things lift off you. And I went, okay, the spirit knows what it's doing, so I don't really know. I don't really have to know what I'm doing. And thank God for that, because I probably cock it all up anyway.
Ya, sí, se me
Yeah.
están, estoy como contestando muchas preguntas.
I'm answering a lot of my
Cuando
questions
me entrené para
because I train
facilitar
myself
cosas,
to
para facilitar
facilitate
lo que
things,
fuera,
to facilitate
entrenamientos, lo que fuera.
trainings,
Siempre
whatever.
vi que lo que se
I
me
always saw
proponía era eh,
that I
trata
was
que todo lo que
supposed
compartas con cualquier
that
persona
everything you
sea
share with
bajo tu
any person
experiencia, porque
is
allí va a haber
within your own experience
conexión con el corazón
because
de la
there's
persona que estás hablando
connection to the
y
other
tú me lo estás
person
contestando, claro.
and you're answering that to me.
And you know, the funny thing about it is you don't have to worry about anything other than just loving and serving the one in front of you. And that's really just loving and serving the part of you that is them. And the rest just kind of takes care of itself. All of what I do, and people go, "Oh my God, you do so much service." I don't see it that way. I just see it as working with loving and serving the one that's in front of me. It's just that one next step of unconditional loving. It's just that one next person. And I just pray, Lord, let my vision be no greater than the next one that I am to love and serve. Lord, let my vision be no greater than the next one that I'm to love and serve. Because all the trouble I ever get into in my life is when I go outside of that.
Okay.
And it is through your presence that the transmission occurs, not through your conceptual reality or your thoughts, not through your version of what you think you should be doing, not through your behavior. It comes through your presence, where God is meeting itself in infinity in you, and then connecting into that which is infinite in the other person and finding that there's no difference. There's no separation. There's only loving.
Yeah. Ok. Ah, siempre
I
he
always,
visto como la
I've
vida
always
como
seen
una
in the
oportunidad
Bible
de
an
amar
opportunity to love,
y los
and
viajeros siempre me han dejado tal vez,
travelers have always
siempre he mencionado
given
duran esta
tasks to
vida y
me
mucho más allá
that go to these lives and beyond,
como decía la película, más
like the
allá y hasta
movie,
el infinito.
to
Y,
the
y
infinity and
parte de ese
beyond.
trabajo era
And
siempre
part of that work
amar, amar,
was always
amar,
to
amar.
love, 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 and love.
Y acabas de dar una lección al
And
respecto
you have taught me so much
de
about
cómo
it,
se hacen.
We call that
how to do it.
etc. We call
Ajá.
that etc., right? Eternally traveling consciousness. There's always more love.
Ese es el gran problema
That's the greatest problem.
de cómo poder
How can I,
abrirse más a eso.
or how can we open more to that?
Porque veo que llego a un límite.
Because
Dice,
I
bueno,
see a limit, and then
si
I
me dice
say,
que hay más, bueno,
well, but there's more.
¿en qué forma práctica?
What's a pragmatic way
There, the
to do
only
that?
Yeah, no, the problem or the conundrum is you say, how can I keep loving more? How can I, and you say, how can I, when the problem is you're still doing the I thing. And there's a point at which that dissolves and you just have the loving.
Ujú.
And then the loving does what the loving does, and you don't have to worry about it.
Simple.
Simple.
Yeah, it's a little bit simpler, yeah. But your mind likes to complicate things, which is really fun. And when you're in that consciousness, you can have fun with your mind complicating things. And that's very enjoyable too.
Sí, mucha libertad.
Yeah, so much freedom, so much freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ah, eh, esta es mi segunda parte, versión de compartir contigo
This is
y
my second time sharing with
me
you, and
siento que
I'm feeling that
mágicamente me llevas no sé a dónde,
magically you're taking me
que
somewhere. I
realmente
don't
no
know
sé
where.
quién eres,
I don't know who
pero
you are,
lo que me
but
has llevado en esta conversación ha sido como,
what's been
¿a
present
dónde
in
me
this
estás
conversation
jalando?
is where are you
¿A dónde me
taking me,
estás
man?
llevando? Pero
Where are you
es algo
taking me?
como lo que comentabas cuando
It's
le
like what
contestaste
you
a la
were
primera
sharing
persona.
when you were sharing
Y
with the other person.
estoy comiendo
Like
ese
I
maná,
am tasting that manna
esa
from heaven,
dulzura
that sweetness,
es genial.
and it's
Gracias de
great.
todas formas.
Thank you, anyways. You know.
Yeah. And that's the big secret, right? I think the quote from John Roger was like, the greatest secret is that the journey is over before it ever began. You're already in soul consciousness. You're just moving your awareness to that reality. Something like that.
¿Sí?
I don't know that I'm taking you anywhere because I don't know if there's anywhere to go other than straight to the heart of God.
Ok, ok.
God bless you, man.
Igual, que Dios te bendiga.
God bless you too.
Well, all right, folks. Thank you for staying on a little bit late. Um, thank you for spending this time with us. Um, God bless you. I love you. The blessings already are. Have a good night.